Madden 22 just got an update a few days ago, and it might be the worst update in Madden history, and I'm going to break it down for you in this video right here. Now, I'm here in practice mode, and we're going to break down why people are calling this the worst update in Madden history. Now, is it technically the worst update? No, it didn't break anything crazy. Most of the times when there's a bad update, it's because they fixed one thing, but they inadvertently broke something else completely unrelated. That happens, that's fine, we've seen it a million times. The reason people are calling this the worst update is because they focused on one thing and one thing only, and they still managed to make that one thing way worse than it was before, which is kind of mind-boggling, so we're going to break this down. Now, this patch really aimed to fix a lot of the issues with cover 3 deep zones, the deep third zone. So if we pull up a cover 3 here on defense, you can see that there are 3 deep zones. We have the outside cornerbacks and we have the deep middle safety. Those are called deep thirds. They're responsible for a third of the field, so they're about responsible for 33% of the field each. And the problem is they were just letting things run by them, run underneath them to the sidelines. They really didn't defend anything well. So the one thing they did kind of fix is the verticals glitch, where you would have a wheel route and a streak. And now if you remember before the update, the cornerback on the outside would absolutely glitch out. You can see that now the cornerback will run with the route, but he's still very late to the route, and you see that we still could have had a one-play touchdown there. They made it a little bit better, but they didn't actually make it that much better. He just doesn't completely bug out to the wheel route now, but honestly, if you throw the streak just a little early, I mean, you can see it's a one-play touchdown. Neither deep third on the field defends this route. I can even take the tight end off the play. I can literally take the tight end off the play, and now we have 3 vertical routes versus 3 deep zones. So we have the deep zone on Mike Evans, he'll take him. The safety should take this crossing route, and the outside cornerback, Marlon Humphrey, should take the streak. But again, you'll notice the streak is wide open for a touchdown. It splits both deep zones. The cornerback is just completely unaware of what's going on the field, and this is actually worse than it was before the update. Okay, so we've switched plays now on defense. We're still in the cover 3 because that's what we're talking about, the deep third zones that were supposed to be fixed with the update. You can see still a cover 3, but now we're going to look at the play Z spot. This is a popular concept where you have a streak, a corner route, and a flat route to flood zone coverage. Now, this should flood the zone coverage to an extent, but not as good as it does. So I want to show you, number 1, you're going to have the streak on this play. Again, the streak down the seam, it's pretty much a one-play touchdown if you have fast enough receivers, which is fine. It's okay to hit a seam streak against cover 3, but here's where the real problem is. It's not that the streak is a touchdown or a big play. It's also that the corner route is a huge play on the sideline as well, because the outside cornerback in the deep third does nothing well. He doesn't defend the sideline, and he doesn't defend deep. Before the patch, he was defending certain things okay, but most things not okay. Now he pretty much defends nothing okay, nothing at all. So we're going to zoom in here on Marlon Humphrey. Keep in mind, one of the higher rated cornerbacks in the game, so this is no bum. This is like a top 5 corner in the game, and even Jalen Ramsey, you can test this out yourself, 99 everything, he plays the same way. Notice how he's not defending either thing. He's literally splitting the difference between both of them. He's letting this corner route get wide open on the sideline, and he's letting this streak run wide open as well. Now, the safety doesn't do a great job either, but you have to also consider the way this cover 3 is and how most cover 3s are in the game, unless you're flipping your defense. A lot of times the deep safety is going to line up on this side of the field, the free safety. So he does have a lot of ground to rotate over, and he doesn't do the greatest job. But really, when you look at the area of the field that the streak and the corner are running, they're kind of both in the cornerback's area. This is kind of technically, the streak is a little bit outside of where the safety is supposed to cover. He can, come over and carry the route, but really both of these would be this cornerback's route. So one of them should get open because he can't defend them both, but the problem is he doesn't defend either. Look where he's at and look where these routes are at. He doesn't commit to anything, and both of them are huge gains. Now, sure, if you want to run a cover 3, especially against bunch, this popular formation, you have to put this guy into a deep half. So now he's going to cover half the field, and this, he'll actually play good. He'll get back, he'll be decisive, he'll take away the streak. It's going to leave the corner route wide open, but at least you could see now when you try to throw this streak, he's actually there to go make a play on the streak. The safety also got over pretty decently that time as well. Probably threw it a little too late, but you could see the cornerback's at least getting to a route. And then what you would do in your coaching adjustments after putting him into a deep half is you would take this cloud flat or this curl flat, and you would manually have to set him to drop 30 yards back. So then he would drop way back to the sideline. He would take away the corner route. route. Now, of course, you're leaving the flats wide open, but that's how this game is. That's why so many people are hitting tight end flat routes, or they're hitting these little out routes to the running back, because the deep zones can't cover anything. So you have to change the deep zones up, and then you have to take your underneath zones, manually drop them so far back that you just can't cover the flats. So people are just quick passing to the flats and picking up 5-10 yards a pop, but it's better than just giving up a 20-30 yard play. But let me show you just how bad it is. Again, we're still in a cover 3, and what we're going to do this time is we're going to set our play up like this. So it's still the same concept of a streak, a corner, and a flat, but we've put the tight end on the streak now, which means he's significantly closer to the middle safety, and he's in between the hashes, meaning that the outside cornerback should not worry about him at all. He's not even in his area of the field, but I want you to watch what happens. You can still hit this corner out for a huge gain, because at the last second, he will bail. Obviously, you got to click on and kind of like get your guy in position, but you can still catch this route. And this is one of the things they were supposed to really focus on with the patch, and they said that they did, was that this deep third would defend corner routes much better, especially if there was no pull route on his side of the field, which there's not a pull route. Now, when we have the B receiver on the streak, that is a pull route in his area that he should defend. The corner should get open. But right now, we have the tight end, as you can see down the middle. He's on the pull route. He's not in the outside cornerback's part of the field. The safety completely has him. Not only that, but the linebacker is with him as well. So he's completely bracketed. And right here, you can see at the last minute, when you cross the numbers, he will watch this corner route cross the numbers, and then he turns back. Why is he turning back? There's literally nothing in that area of the field. The middle of the field has a pull route, but that's not in his area of the field. That's not in his 33% of the field, and he's covered, but he still turns around to run. So this is one of the big things they were supposed to fix, and they didn't. The game is not smart enough to understand that that tight end is not his responsibility, so he will still turn at the last minute. And yes, he's not too far out of position, but he's far enough out of position to where you're giving up a huge gain. Now, I know somebody's gonna have the smart comment of, well, he has to get deep, because what if this tight end were to just break towards the pylon right now, just run a super deep corner? You know what that's called? That's called a great concept, a great call by the offense to beat a cover 3, and it should. And even with that said, the safety still would probably carry him in that situation. But if Gronk just cuts to the pylon right now, you tip your hat to the offense. That's a great play call, because this corner has to respect this guy, because right now that's the only thing in his area of the field. Not only that, but if you have the time to let this develop to the pylon, if that was somehow the play call, if your pass rush can't get home by then, you deserve to give up a touchdown in real life and in Madden. That's just a good play call to beat cover 3. But that's not the case almost any of the time, and yet he's still letting this corner route get wide open. And please don't pressure cover 3. Don't ever press it, because let me show you what happens if you press cover 3 now. Watch how simple this is. I have 2 routes on the field, on the right side of the field, and only one of them is going actually downfield. The B receiver is going to the flat. Watch how the cornerback plays this. He just backpedals the entire way and lets this guy run right by him for a touchdown. Do you see that? That wasn't happening before the patch. Now you're probably saying, well, what if you press but you shade over top? Well, that's what we're going to do. You see the adjustments here? We're shading over top, which means we're telling our defense, play over top. That is your responsibility, to get over top, to bail out. It's not going to happen. Watch. He's just going to let the corner out run past him. He's just going to backpedal the entire way. And he's watching the corner break. He's literally watching it and just continuing a backpedal and not defending it. So please don't ever pressure cover 3 as of this point going forward. And now we've opened up a whole nother can of worms with plays like clear out, SE out, which I'm going to call right here against a cover 3. Again, I'll show it on screen. This is a cover 3. This little fade route here to the B receiver, it just cooks everything. So if you actually can put your slot receiver on a corner route, so if you have a guy with hot route master or a wide receiver with slot apprentice, I mean, this just absolutely destroys cover 3, and it should, but it shouldn't destroy it this way. Look how wide open this guy is. It's actually ridiculous. Again, this wasn't happening before the patch. They somehow focused on cover 3, but they made it worse. I want you to watch how the cornerback dumbs out here. I want you to watch how he's like, wait. Like, you see how he just defends nothing? Like, he starts like just shaking back and forth. He does not know what to do. Now, this is a good concept to beat cover 3. I'm going to tell you why. Because the deep safety does have to worry about Gronkowski because he's running a deep post. So that's fine. The safety should be keyed in on him. We're putting the outside cornerback in conflict between this corner and this fade route. But the rule says he's supposed to carry the deepest route. He's supposed to give up the corner here, especially if you see we have this underneath zone, which isn't going to defend the corner, but you can see that it carries the corner long enough before it starts jumping down. So you don't want to give up the one play touchdown. If there's a pull route, he's supposed to take the pull route. He's really only supposed to focus heavily on the corner if there's not anything else pulling him deep. But as you notice, again, he defends neither. He lets the corner get open on the sideline, and he lets this fade run right by him. So let's run that again, and I'll show you that you can fit the corner route in here. If you don't have your underneath zones dropping far enough back, boom, you can fit that in. So again, this is the problem. The deep thirds do not defend anything. They have to at least take one thing away. Sure, you can make 10 adjustments to your cover 3 to try to take this stuff away, but like, what's the point of running cover 3? And watch this, I'll make no adjustments to the play. I won't even have the deep corner route going to the sideline, and I can still throw this for a one-play touchdown because, or almost a one-play touchdown. He gets a little bit closer to it, but look how open he leaves it. Again, no adjustments to the play, just running it stock. He reacts to it so late that I can still split the deep zones for a huge gain. Again, he's not taking away anything. In fact, I'll go here and I will block the tight end. I'll put my middle receiver on a vertical route. So literally we have 3 routes on the field right here, and they're all vertical routes, and we have 3 deep zones on the play. And I mean, you'll just see, again, this is a touchdown. Look how far away he is. There's nothing else even on his side of the field, and he can't react to this route. Again, same route combination. Now I'm going to go to the crossing route. Watch. Crossing routes wide open. The deep zones just don't defend anything in this game, and this is the issue. Can you make 6 adjustments to take this away? Sure you can. So let me put my tight end on a delay fade, which is a popular thing to do, and I'll run this setup, and maybe I'll put, you know, my running back on an out route, right? So sure, I can go ahead and I can deep half this guy and say, you take away the fade since the deep third can't. I can go ahead and I can manually user the crossing route myself, or I could drop this guy super far back 30 yards with my coach adjustments and tell him to stop the crossing route, but I still have to carry the crossing route at least halfway over the field, or it'll be wide open over the middle because this guy right here ain't going to do anything. So if I do all of that, look, I'll go ahead and man this guy up on the crosser to simulate my user, pretend this guy is dropping far back, and then at that point, you have your flat route to the running back wide open, or I can release my delay fade underneath for an easy 5 to 10 yards. That's the issue with the game. Because the deep zones don't defend anything, you have to make all these adjustments just to stop the big play, and now you're just getting ate up underneath all day because the simple zones in the game that are supposed to defend basic route concepts can't defend them. So you have to overcompensate to take those away, and now you're kind of in no man's land against a smart player that'll just dink and dunk you underneath because you got to focus everything so far back because deep zones will not play things properly. Now, something you might want to take note of is if you are going to run a cover 3, which I don't really recommend right now, make sure that your deep middle safety is like on the side of a bunch, right? When they're running a formation like this with a bunch look on the right, you don't want your deep safety coming from the opposite side of the field. At least if he's on the same side of the field, you have a better chance to defend things. I mean, but even with that said, you're still going to see this corner route's going to get open because that outside corner just, he does not understand that he doesn't have to run with that streak. Watch this again. We're setting up perfectly to where he should take away this corner. He does not understand that he doesn't have to run with number 10 right here. Look, the safety has number 10, like he's accounted for, but Marlon Humphrey, and again, it's any cornerback. It's not Marlon Humphrey, Jalen Ramsey, anybody in the game will do this. He's going to turn and still run with that route and just give this up underneath. And then again, that's why you got to take this guy here, 25, drop him 30 yards back, and then you're just giving up the flats and you're giving up the shallow middle because you have to put everybody back. So really, cover 3, just, I wouldn't run it right now. They tried to fix it. They somehow made it worse. This isn't even all of it. This is just kind of, I would say like 50% of the problems with it right now that I'm showing. And you can see just how bad it is. It's one play touchdowns and 30-yard gains all over the field when you run cover 3. And if you make the adjustments to take stuff away, you're just going to die by death of 1,000 cuts. So you might want to look at things like using, like a lot of people are using cover 6 right now. That's a little bit better. You still want to adjust your zone drops and stuff like that, cover 4s. But all in all, deep third zones, they focused on making them better. They made them worse. And that's why people are calling this the worst patch of all time.